Hi, I'm here for a lesson today for your hips and for your back. So when you're ready, go ahead and lie down all the way on your back. There's nothing you need to look at to demo now. Just get a sense of how you rest, either in your bed or on the ground. Just lying completely down, getting an overall sense of how you lie. Giving yourself a moment to settle. And notice if anything special draws your attention in today. If there's any area of discomfort, any area of comfort as you give yourself more and more to the floor, as you give your weight over. Maybe a place that's unusual in a sense of comfort or discomfort. Notice how your shoulders and your upper back contact the floor or the bed beneath you. And notice the whole length of your back. How much of your back is really resting on the surface beneath you? And which places are making light contact underneath of your back or spine? And even less contact? And which parts make no contact at all? Check out the right and left sides of your back and see where you can find contact, less contact, and no contact. And then bring your attention to your pelvis and notice the balance over your pelvis. How much weight is right there in the center, or how much weight is to one side or the other? Does the pelvis seem to be tilted a little bit or pretty even here, lying symmetrically? And if you experience any pain or discomfort in one leg or one hip, just noticing how your pelvis is resting can be really important to give you more information. Observing the organization helps the discomfort, because when we're walking asymmetrically, it's going to show up in our pelvis with more weight to one side or the other to show us we're using more of one side more often. So bringing the pelvis into balance, which we're going to do today, can take some strain off of the pelvis and the low back. And then notice your legs and the contact of your legs. And then very slowly roll to your side and come to a seated position, cross-legged position if you can. I'm already in this position. And just notice when you arrive how comfortable you are in this position today. Notice your knees and your spine, and then change the leg that's in front. And notice how comfortable you are in this second position. If it's less comfortable, just notice you can always take something like a pillow or a pad and put it under your pelvis. So if you want to try that and pause the video to see, does this help me sit more comfortably? You can always do that. So notice your knees and how comfortable they are. And then we're gonna take the left hand to the floor. I'm gonna take my padding out, but you keep yours there if you need to. So the left hand is just on the floor in front of us, and we're just gonna reach forward and come back. So it's just this sliding motion of the hand on the floor in front, reaching forward and sliding back, just the left hand. Make sure the hand is light on the floor. The right hand can be wherever it's comfortable, wherever it feels comfortable to rest. And just notice how this movement moves the rest of the body, how the rest of the body begins to organize around the movement of reaching that left hand forward and back. Which parts of you start to lean forward, which parts of you bring you back. And now experiment with reaching at different angles. So start to go a little bit to one direction and then maybe to another direction, and see what's different about when you reach at certain angles. Keep your hand light on the ground as you do this. Light hand, light contact. And just notice what changes about the movement of you when you move in a different direction. So just notice that. And how does your torso or your trunk support this movement of bringing the hand forward or diagonal in different directions? Come to rest for a moment and pause either in seated or lying all the way down, just taking a moment to rest your body, rest your hand, and rest from the movement. As you breathe, notice anything different that you sense about yourself. And then come back to having the left hand on the floor. You might change the organization of the legs, it's up to you. But we're just gonna slide in the same way. And this time I want you to notice where you're looking. Do you look in the direction you're sliding? And is it more, if you do, is it more toward the hand or a little bit up above the hand? Or do you look somewhere totally different? So notice what you do. And does your head go down or does it go up? So notice, does the head start to go down towards the palm or does it start to lift up as so the chin comes away from the chest? What makes the movement easier for you? Try both. One's taking the head down with the hand and one's taking the chin up. That's to look up when the hand reaches. And notice the difference. What's the difference in the chest when you look down or when you look up? Noticing the quality of the movement when you notice changes. And now look at how far you can reach in general. So just reaching in your easiest direction and just seeing how far is easy. Notice how this affects the overall organization of the whole body as you reach and come back. How much of you is moving as far as you can go comfortably. And how easy does it feel for you? Notice if it feels easy in this way with the head down or the head up. Just still noticing, maybe it's somewhere in between. And the next time you come back, pause and rest. You can always choose to rest on your back if you'd like, or you can rest in seated. If you're resting and sitting, that's fine. Just experiment maybe with the number of ways that you can rest in seated each time you come to pause. Can you find a different way to rest in a seated position? And how can you be comfortable in all of those positions? When you're ready, come back to a cross-legged position with either leg in front. This time place the right hand on the floor and we'll do the same thing. Just beginning to lengthen the hand forward. The left hand can be anywhere, just experimenting. Already you know you can go at different angles, so practicing those angles or wherever you feel drawn to explore first. And then next, and experimenting with the head. Does it like to go down or does it prefer to go up? Notice what your head likes to do and keep the right hand on the floor light as you breathe. Make sure you breathe continuously, or notice if you don't breathe for a moment and then invite it back. So what's different about how the body organizes for this arm sliding? Is it easier than it was on the other side? Is it more challenging? Because the only thing we changed is the hand. Go in different angles if you're not already. Just finding which angles are easier. Well, find the easier angles where you're doing less and the movement is easier. And what is it about these side angles that can make it easier? That support the movement more? What is it about the angles that feel more supportive or less? Pause, and then bring your left hand back to the floor, and then slide it again in any direction. Just noticing, is it easier now to slide your left hand on the floor in any direction? Did something about reaching with the right hand make this even easier? Just notice. Is it gliding more? Or are you feeling more of how your weight is shifting as the hand moves on your pelvis, over your legs? And just notice that. And now we're going to make a big circle on the floor with the left hand. So we're just going to draw a circle and go slow. I'm going a little bit too quick, so go as slow as you feel your body needs to go in order to feel every part of the movement. A big sweeping circle on the floor with the left hand. How much can your pelvis move as you make this circle? Can you move your pelvis more? Which will move your body more. Most likely in the direction the arm sweeps. So let's try the other direction and see if that's true. Can you allow your pelvis to move more here as you sweep the hand? As the hand circles, allow the pelvis to be soft so it can circle with you, supporting the movement, making it easier. And then come to pause and then rest all the way on your back if you're comfortable, just to come back to your back and get a sense of how you feel now. Giving you a moment to come to your back, resting on a bed or the floor. Once you rest, notice what grabs your attention, what's interesting to you. From anything we've done so far, can you sense how that relates to your contact with the floor? And anything you notice that's different or changed or has shifted. Notice the rotation of your two arms and how your arms contact the floor. Does one arm give its weight to the floor a little more easily than the other? Meaning, is it heavier, more restful? Just notice if one arm is different from the other without judgment. And then when you're ready, come back up to seated. And when you come all the way to seated this time, we're going to have our legs bent to the side. So we're going to have the feet to the right and the knees to the left. So we're side sitting. That means I have my right foot behind me. My left foot is right here by my right knee, and I'm in a side sitting position. And now let's take the right hand in this position and begin to slide it in this way. And just find the easy trajectories to start. What is easy for you to begin? What angles are easy? What movements are easy? Just sweeping forward and back or diagonally and back and noticing the easiest trajectories that allow for the most movement. But notice what happens with the pelvis here too. How is it supporting your movements? Can you feel the pelvis also involved? Let's pause and switch hands and see how that is. So now we're going to slide the left hand. Again, feel how the pelvis is involved as you explore different angles and trajectories with your left hand. And just feel the movement. How is it different on this side? Does your pelvis or torso or head move differently? Pause. We're going to come back to the right arm, and this time we're just going to go straight out in front and back. And now as you start to go in front, take your head, look down towards your chest as the hand goes forward. And then as you come back up, look up again. So this time we're taking the arm and the head down. Head goes down as the arm goes straight in front. Continue to do that movement. Feeling how your whole back rounds, how your chest rounds, how you drop the head. As if you wanted to see your belly button. And as you reach, you let your whole back really round, breathing easily. Allowing the back to round, looking down towards your belly. And coming back. Breathing easily. The next time you come back, pause and come to rest. And see if you can find another seated position that's comfortable, or you can always rest on your back. So resting is a really important part of these lessons to integrate. And it's likely that you don't really feel tired during these rests, and that's okay. You weren't doing very much, but we were working on efficiency. So we're really just resting our attention because we were using a lot of attention, not effort. And that needs a moment to rebuild. In the modern world today, our attention is drawn in by so many things, and to give our full attention can mean we need a moment of quiet afterwards. We need a break between one process and the next process when we're able to give our full undivided attention. And the benefits are tremendous. Okay, when you're ready, come back to the same position. Left foot is toward the right knee, right foot is behind, so we're side sitting with knees to the left. From here, we're going to slide again the right hand and then look down a little bit toward the hand. And then as you're halfway there, start to look up and follow the hand and come back. So what we're doing now is going down. Halfway through that movement of going down, start to look up. And you'll feel that the back does something really interesting here. So we're going forward, down, halfway through, look up. Feel what happens in your back. It's like you're doing a couple of cat-cows for each movement. So just feel that movement down and then up, following the hand. Now as you look up, even start to look toward the ceiling a bit. So you start by looking down, then you start to look up, look all the way toward the ceiling. Notice if you can do that and still feel that your pelvis supports you and is involved. Looking down, looking all the way up toward the ceiling and noticing that at the end of the movement and then coming back. And notice, do you come back in the same way or is it different? And just finding out what effect this has on the movement. How does this change things for you? Does it allow you to reach more comfortably and further or not? And you notice, is it more comfortable? Is it further for you? And now let's do a couple of movements, really rounding the back and see what that feels like. So really rounding the back as you go forward, and that's all you do. And just notice the difference. Do you go as far? What do you sense in the pelvis as you round completely? What does that do to the movement of the right arm? And now a couple of times, try only looking upward. Start looking up toward the ceiling as the arm goes out, and what effect does that have on the movement? What about your torso, your trunk? What is it doing when you're looking up? Is it supported? Is it in ease? Or is there a lot of holding? You notice if this is a supportive movement for you or not. And how is it different when you look up in your pelvis than when you look down? If you want to go back once to try looking down to feel the difference, you can. Going back to looking up, what's the difference in the pelvis? And the next time you come back, come to rest all the way on your back if you're comfortable. Of course, you can always try to find a new way to sit that feels very comfortable and supportive for you. And as you rest, just notice that what we're doing is so practical because we sit to reach for things all day, beginning sometimes in our bed with turning on a light, depending on where it is. Even just getting out of bed or reaching for a glass of water or a book at a table nearby requires this amount of reaching. So we're allowing this movement to be so easy so that when you wake up or you go to reach for something, it's a whole body graceful movement with breath that will allow you ease throughout your day for these very simple movements that we often take for granted because we do them so quickly. When we slow these down, everything else in life becomes easier. When you're ready, we're going to come back to seated. And now we're going to reach with the left arm a few times, but we're still going to have the feet in the same way. So knees are to the left, feet are to the right, left arm's in front now. Begin to reach with the left arm. Right hand can be anywhere you like. What is it like to reach with the left arm in the legs in this situation? Just noticing they're not crossed. Is it different than it was before? Experiment with some different angles and notice what you sense in this configuration with this arm. How is it different from the other hand? What angles are easy? And what are you choosing to do with your head and eyes? Don't follow me for that. I'm looking at the camera. There are all kinds of ways you can go down, up, explore them all. Now let's come to the right hand and do the same thing. Let's see how the right hand is coming along and where the head and eyes are wanting to go. Maybe you notice spontaneously what you want to do versus trying to impose something that you think might be helpful. What does the body want to do with the head and eyes? And how is the ease of this movement now and the range? Now we're going to reach just about 2/3 of how far you can go and just sweep the arm left and right around the body. And feel the whole body moving. Allow the pelvis and the torso to move with you. The hand stays on the ground and you're sweeping around you like a protective semicircle in front of you. A big sweeping movement, noticing how the whole body moves. How the legs are kind of still and quiet, but how the pelvis and torso are doing a lot here to help this movement, to support the movement of the arm. Pause and come to rest in a comfortable seated position if you're comfortable there. So what we want for a lot of this lesson is for the pelvis to be alive and mobile. So it's important for all kinds of functions, even reaching for those things we want during the day involves the movement and the softening of our pelvis, which we are implementing now and our brain will remember later. So our pelvis needs to be alive for movement. The hips and legs need to be involved in everything we do. So that's why we're working so much with the hips and legs now, along with the arm movement. And it's also nice just to have moments during the day where you just sit and pause, especially if you're dealing with something with pain, and just taking a few moments to sense yourself like this. Just to notice, are you holding your breath? Are you connecting to yourself, or are you contracting unnecessarily in some way? Is taking a break during the day to sense yourself. It might be challenging because it's not in our culture. The demands of life pull us away from our sensory awareness. But the more we can sense ourselves physically, the more we can understand what's going on all around. Now when you're ready, come back to seated. And again, we'll come back to the same position of knees to the left, feet to the right. And now we're going to make a circle with our right hand. And just notice what the pelvis does. See if the circle here is easier than it was than the one we did with the left hand. Does it make more sense for some reason? Maybe it's the organization of the legs. Let's try the other direction and find out. Why does this make more sense? Start to get a feeling now of your more mobile pelvis involved, body involved, everything moving. And then pause and come to rest all the way on your back. And always rest in a different position. But as you rest on your back, if you're there, notice the weight of your pelvis now on the ground and the balance between your two sides. Notice if your pelvis is tilted one way or the other, or it feels rather symmetrical. Did something shift since the beginning of the lesson? Maybe something in the length of your back, the contact of your back with the floor. Which parts of your back are now giving their weight over to the floor? And slowly, when you're ready, roll up to seated. Come to sit. This time we'll have the knees to the right and the legs to the left, which means my left foot is back here by the left side of my buttocks. Resting in this position now. Side sitting. We're going to put the left hand on the floor and just reach and see how that is now. We're in a different position we haven't sat in yet, so give yourself some time to go slow and warm up to this side sitting position now with the left hand, and you know you can go in any angle. This is the first movement we did, but not in this seated position. So just notice, is there a shift in how far you can go? It's the same reaching. Is there a shift now in how far, how smoothly you can reach? Does your back, do your pelvis support you in a different way as you reach? Notice the comfort of the movement in each way you go and how they're different. And to begin to figure out, how could you reach even further without straining? No constraints here. You can do anything. How would you begin to reach further? Just start to brainstorm. If everything is allowed and I wanted to reach further and I could do anything, what would I do? So you'll probably figure out that you have to move your pelvis from the floor. So as you reach now, the pelvis moves from the floor. If you want to go further, you move your pelvis. And just notice, is that a possibility for you? And if it is, you go there, you reverse and come back, but you let your pelvis move. So you come up almost on your knees. It may not be comfortable, so you don't have to come up that far, but you can come up as far as your knees, as long as you can come back okay. And take care with where you put your right hand, because it might be more supportive for you to have it on the floor to lift your pelvis. What if the right hand is on the floor? Does that make it easier for you to lift your pelvis? Find a way for that right hand to support you as you continue to experiment with the position of this hand. Find smoothness so there's not a lot of effort. As the pelvis comes away from the floor and comes back down again. Smoothness, less effort. The next time the pelvis comes away from the floor, switch your legs so they go to the other side. And now we're side sitting, so the knees are to the left and feet are to the right. So let's try that again. Slide the left hand out, you're on the knees. Switch the directions of the leg. I'm gonna try to figure out where I'm going. So switching every time. So you side sit in a different position each time. If this is something you can do. Now one leg is sliding all the way around. There's a lot of movement in the hips, but this is really what we want to be mobile. This is true flexibility. This ability just to shift like this, very easily, smoothly and easily. And the next time that the knees and feet are to the other side, just pause and stay there. So the knees, we're gonna have the knees to the right and feet to the left. And just notice now, we're gonna go back to the left hand going forward. Notice where you put your right hand on the floor and just slide. And just see how this is coming along now, this movement of the left hand forward now in a different position. What does it feel like to you now? Making a connection from your right hand, or left hand to your pelvis. And now let's change hands and make the right hand connect to the pelvis. Sliding just the right hand in any direction. Not doing anything special, just noticing how you connect to the pelvis here. And now we're going to start to lift the pelvis again. As we go forward, to go forward even further. And as you lift the pelvis, you can have your left hand on the floor, begin to change the legs over to the other side. Every time you go out, pelvis lifts, change the legs, and come back. So you're changing your legs as you slide that right hand forward each time. You're swiveling your feet, so they just swivel to the left, and then they just swivel to the right. Let's come back. Swivel to one direction and swivel to the other. And just notice how that feels in the body. And then come to rest on your back, all the way on your back. So often in lessons that I've done recently, we use the lower parts of the body to talk to the upper parts of the body. This time we're using more of the upper body to speak to the lower body. We're using the arms and hands to speak to the hips, legs, knees, feet, toes, for the organization of the pelvis and legs. That's our primary purpose. But it helps everything. So notice your lower back, because that connects to the pelvis. Is it contacting the floor now in a different way? Maybe it's a little closer or it feels more comfortable. Notice your shoulders too, and notice if they're contacting the floor in a different way or if they feel more comfortable. We're looking for overall comfort here, overall ease. When you're ready, come up from your back into seated. And come to a seated position. Once again, you're cross-legged. And find out if you feel more comfortable in this cross-legged position than you did in the beginning. How did this lesson affect your comfort in this position? Switch legs and see if you're more comfortable in the second position. And then come all the way to stand. I'm going to remain in seated. Go ahead and stand up for a minute and start to walk around if you have the space. Just take a few steps in any direction. They don't even have to be forward. Feel how your arms swing as you walk. Do you feel a different state of ease in this moment? Feel the rhythm of your walking as you feel the rhythm of your heartbeat. And I wish you luck in the rhythm of your evening. Thank you so much for joining me.